Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and this week is ultimately the best week for you guys to farm honor. Now, it's been a while since people actually cared about honor, I think since maybe vanilla, but honor has gotten some more importance as of the patch 8.2 with a brand new essence system. In 8.2, Blizzard introduced a lot of essences, and you get them through various sources. Some are from dungeons, raids, others are from quests, you got others from reputations, factions, and PvP. And one of the better essences, called Blood of the Enemy, is accessible primarily through doing battlegrounds, epic battlegrounds, brawls, and PvP islands, which I don't know a lot of people that actually do those. And there's a lot of players that are primarily, let's say, raiders or PvEers, and that don't really engage in the PvP content, or that simply might not be their cup of tea. But still, the game requires for you to get that essence if it is the best in slot for your spec or class. So this video is going to talk about why this week is the best week in order to get that rank 3 version of that essence. It doesn't mean you have to grind a lot, but I believe this week you might be able to get this grind done fairly quickly. Let's first start with why Blood of the Enemy is so good. It's a great essence with a fairly short cooldown of 1.5 minutes, so you'll be able to use this often within dungeons, raids, or PvP. The passive for this essence, every time you crit, you gain a stack of critical strike, and at 40 stacks, sometimes less if you are at rank 3 of Blood of the Enemy, that crit converts into haste. So if you're a class that plays with critical strike or haste, this is gonna be a great essence for you, particularly for classes like Shadow Priest and Assassination rogues. But the active effect is where it comes all to fruition. You do a little bit of shadow damage in a cleave like AoE situation, so you can use this on single target or AoE. You also apply a debuff on an enemy where your attacks against the debuffed enemy have a 25% chance higher to crit. So whatever crit chance you have right now, plus 25% on top of that. For a lot of classes and specs, it's going to be almost a 50% crit. So 1 in 2 of your abilities are going to be a guaranteed crit. And if you upgrade this essence at rank 3, you get a very special effect, where once you use this essence on an enemy for 5 seconds, your crits do more damage. This has been game-changing to a lot of specs, particularly the specs that are maybe not that great at burst damage, like imagine an Enhancement Shaman. Enhancement Shamans are mostly about sustained damage and whittling down your enemy with a random proc here and there, but with this essence you can guarantee that your next big Storm Strike is going to do a load of damage. Or vice versa, if you are already a spec that has a high affinity for critical strike, like Elemental Shamans, where they already get a passive where their critical strikes do more damage, then on top of this essence, that's even more crit damage, that's even more crit chance, and that's even more broken damage output. So now we know why this essence is so lucrative, and I can imagine a few of your guys' classes or specs that might find this to be maybe even a best in slot essence right now. But how do you get it? This essence can be farmed only through doing battlegrounds, as in island BGs, epic battlegrounds, normal battlegrounds, and brawls, and this week is the best week to do it. Now, to get rank 3 of this essence, you do have to collect 50,000 honor, which sounds like a lot if you're someone who doesn't really like PvP. For me, we like PvP on this channel. We do 5-5-1-1 duels all the time, and whenever I have any free time, I try to make sure I get my daily BG, epic BG, and brawl done out of the way every single day. But some of you guys might not be a huge fan of the player versus player content. Maybe you're someone who likes Mythic Plus dungeons or raids. For example, a lot of the guys in my guild prefer the PvE content. They love raids, they love pushing Mythic Plus keys, but player versus player they're just not a huge fan of. And this is where the new brawl for this week for both EU and NA comes in. It's called the Comp Stomp. Now, the Comp Stomp is a interesting brawl that was added, I believe, with patch 8.1.5 to show off not only the new Arathi Basin, the updated version, but also a new brawl where you actually play against player NPCs. They're very similar to the island NPCs, where they kind of try to mimic players. They will jump around, they'll use CC, and they're far better at swapping targets than a regular RPG group, and they will even teabag you if they overwhelm you. So whoever programmed these guys definitely had a sense of humor, and they did a fairly decent job. In some sense, they do feel and act like players because they do dumb things just like your average player would. But the reason why this brawl is probably, in my opinion, the best chance for a lot of people that don't like PvP to get in and get your honor done is because this brawl is really easy. It takes maybe a little bit over 10 minutes on average, maybe about 11, 12, or 10 if you are very efficient at capping bases and you have some team coordination. These NPCs are also very predictable and are fairly easy to deal with. All of them are running with adaptation, so you can actually force adaptation as a rogue by hitting them with a sap before they get into combat, and then you're able to crowd control them afterwards. You're able to collapse on healers, tanks, and DPS fairly easily, and because they are NPCs, they play to certain parameters that a player does not. So there's not a lot of that mind game, you don't have to juke their cast, but they will interrupt you and do other things. Finally, the queues for this brawl is really short because you don't have to wait for a horde team and alliance team to assemble, which can take a while whether you are alliance or horde or whichever faction is the more dominant faction at the time of the expansion, which right now on US it is horde. And technically as a horde player you can use mercenary mode in order to play as an alliance player, but then comes in the last and final point, that they are basically impossible to lose. The brawl itself isn't designed for you to lose, and yes, you might be able to get a group or two that really blows it out of the water and does lose against these NPCs. But with the fast queues, the guaranteed honor, the guaranteed win, and it's only just right over 10 minutes, this makes it for a very lucrative thing if you do want to farm. Now the one thing I'll say is if you want to make sure you get the most amount of honor and not work yourself out, you should just make sure to get one BG done, one epic battleground done, and a brawl done, and get at least one win a day if you do want to space it out over a period of time. If you want to do player versus player and you love engaging against others and you simply just want to stomp other players into the ground, you should probably just queue normal battlegrounds. And if the queue is too long, as a horde, you should use the mercenary system, which can be found in Mugambala with an NPC that will let you queue as alliance. However, if you're here to simply strictly farm the essence, maybe you're not a huge fan of the PvP and you're looking for a way to grind out that honor, I would say this brawl is probably your best option. It's fairly quick, fairly easy, and if you're someone who simply just wants to take this week to grind Blood of the Enemy to max level, or if you want to do this in a single day, then you can do it through this brawl. So here's the video for you guys on why this week might be the best to grind honor. And if you're someone who wanted to find out what's the best way, the easiest way, or the fast way to grind honor, at least I got you guys the easiest way. The fastest way would be to probably do epic battlegrounds and do the quests in epic battlegrounds. Make sure you win every single epic battleground and get a lot of ashrens where you can farm honor there, if that is how you do it. But to have a guaranteed team with a great pre-made, lots of coordination that is 100% going to be there to get you the coordination you need and get you that easy win, that's not always a guarantee. So you guys may take this advice with those brawl, you might do something else in general, but as long as you're enjoying PvP, or at least finding some form of PvP that you're happy with, that's all that matters. And hopefully you guys find this video somewhat useful. Take advantage of this week, I know that I will. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and hopefully this week is going to be the week a lot of you guys will see that rank 3 Blood of the Enemy. Thank you all, and I'll see all of you in another video.